What's up guys, BJTHEBRAVE here, and I'm back with another deck guide, and this time I'm bringing you a updated vehicles deck. Obviously we've just had the patch, and that means that even though we did some vehicle decks fairly recently, they have changed quite considerably in certain power levels of certain cards and whatnot. So now obviously the main thing with the vehicles deck is you have got an option as to which leader you want to play. I think you can make an argument for all three leaders. A lot of people think Tigurius is best because Tigurius has an ability to, well, first of all, draw stratagems, and he's on the draw card, and that means you're more likely to get the stratagem that reduces the cost of vehicles. The other thing about Tigurius is that it's easier to trigger codex, right? Because the flexibility, depending on how much energy you need to spend, you can choose whichever of the three abilities will get you to codex. Personally, I still like Calgar. You know, the draw in this deck enables us to draw troops, which we often want. We don't just want stratagems. And also, I think the 40 body is really, it makes me feel really comfortable. So we're going to jump into the deck, and then I've got some games that are saved. We're going to analyze a little bit, and then I've got some live games as well for you. Before we do that, guys, let me just take a second to say a massive thank you to everybody who has subscribed. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is awesome. That's a really big milestone and a real big achievement, and I'm really grateful to you all. If you don't know, I'm planning a 12-hour streamathon on the 8th of June. That's Saturday the 8th of June. We're going to have about 7 or 8 different guests dropping in. We're going to do some tournament style sort of matchups, and we're going to have some deck talk and some masterclasses, all sorts of stuff going on. In addition, from EG have kindly given me some deck codes to give away, so we're going to have some trivia and lots of fun with chat. So come and join that. That starts from 1 PM BST if we hit the 1k subs by the 8th of June. If you haven't yet subscribed, you can help us get there by please doing so. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump on in and have a look at my updated vehicles deck. So one of the things I'm really loving about Ultramarines is the upgrades to a lot of their mid-range and slightly later game units. So I've really adapted the vehicles. A couple of things that are worthy of note. We do run, obviously, the Battlefield Supremacy. This is a key card in the vehicle deck. It does lower the cost of the vehicles in your hand by 1. And if you get it, great, but if you don't get it, this deck still works fine anyway, so nothing to worry about there. So we run the double tactical insight because it's the best card in the Ultramarines, along with the humanity shield. Sometimes we want to use tactical insight, of course, to gain tempo, not necessarily just to trigger codex twice. Primarius Reaver gives us cheat removal, as does point blank shot, so this is what we're looking for in the early game, along with the Inceptor. So that's lots of flank, lots of early removal. Now I do run a single Tyrannic War Veteran. I think because this is a kind of control body-based control deck, I think the War Veteran fits in really nicely. I do think at the minute you can get away with not running this guy because people are testing Necrons and Ultramarines, and Necron and Ultramarines don't really have too much in the line of stealth and camouflage. However, when the metal settles down, we start seeing more Tyrannies coming in, more Eldar coming in, and certainly more Chaos with the camouflage. I do think that this card is going to be worth its weight in gold. We just run one off, and we're, so it's very much a tech card. If you don't want to run it, I would suggest perhaps running the 6-drop flanker, the flying flanker, and just run a single copy of that. Or you could run a second Storm Raven, as I only run one of those. But for now, I'm quite happy with this, thinking about the long term. Obviously, we run Kronos because Kronos is fantastic in this deck, drawing vehicles. This is the deck he was made of. We also run one of the new Armoured Support card. I find this card to be a little bit slow, and it works brilliant in certain matchups. Certain matchups, it's a bit of a luxury, and you just can't afford to play it. So if I don't need to play it for tempo with urgency every turn, then this is a brilliant card to really punish our opponent for slow playing, giving the 1 armor to the rest vehicles for the rest of the game. But I just run a single copy because I started out with 2, and then, as I said, I realised that in a lot of games you can't afford it. It's a luxury, so I just wanted to have one so it wasn't clogging up my hand. Now the Primus Invader, I really love this card. I've had some games, and you've probably seen the gameplay videos that follow this, where I've got his ranged attack up to 10. Right, so I always already thought this card was pretty well statted. What the buff to the range attack does is it enables this card to trade up. Anyone who played Tau a lot last season will understand that one of the things that made them so good is they had a lot of cards that were slightly overstated on the range that allowed them to trade up with the card that was 1 energy more expensive, or sometimes 2 energy more expensive. So Promising Invader now falls into that category, and with this being Codex, it can just keep going and get kind of out of hand. We also run 2 of the Apothecaries as well, so Primaris is a good 4-drop to play before that because it's got good health, and that means it can benefit from being healed from Apothecary Polixis as well. So as I say, in the 4-drops we've got Kronos and Invaders, in the 5-drops we've got Polixis. Obviously we got the hard removal, critical in this game, and has really nice synergy with War Veteran. If somebody's hiding, we can obviously use this guy and then drop Inspired Retribution late game. My other 5-drop is still the Impulsor. Still think that works well in this deck, and you could change that out for probably the Justicar with the for the stun. I find that card worked really well, for example, in my big guard deck. If you've not seen that, go and check out my recent video. But I've gone with the Impulsor in this one to give us a little bit more sort of go wide capability. Now we do run double Blade Guard Veteran. I really like this card now. With the armor, I do think that 6 health and 1 armor is way better than 7 health with no armor. And again, it's a Vanguard, and we can get some serious benefit from not just his own heal, but the fact that we've got Polixis, which can then be guarded and can be healing as well. That can be a really nasty combo in the mid game. We run double Storm Talon. I absolutely love this card. It's like one of my favourite cards in the game right now, and it's super powerful. It's probably a bit too powerful, but it's been a dead card for long enough. I'm not going to complain. Loving this card, and it's actually one of the reasons to play vehicles right now. I run a single Dreadnought. As I said, I only run 1 Storm Raven, so having another Dreadnought gives me my kind of second AoE, if you like. If we really needed to, we could obviously Tactical Insight out on the Dreadnought, but sometimes it's really handy. Certain matchups like the Eldar and Nemesis and stuff, it's pretty good. Other matchups, it's kind of like not really something you want to play. Sicarius, on the other hand, is always pretty good. Sicarius is really cool. Another great reason to play Ultramarines right now. It's been a card, as you know, that we've not been able to play for so long. It's been a really underpowered legendary. The fact that it comes down now with Vanguard is just superb. And then the Greatest Deeds next turn means that you can basically just turn your end game into an absolute powerhouse with these discounted mega bodies, essentially. And I also run double Executioner as well. So if there was ever any doubt that we had a powerful end game, and this is what really makes me confident in not having to attack early on and really play as a control player. So that's the deck. So what I want to do now is jump in and show you some games. So let's jump into some game analysis. First one is against Tigurius, and as you can see here, we decided to throw all of that away.
Tell me, Varro, what do you see? I wish you hadn't asked.
So we've gone with a Thunderstorm, which is actually pretty good against Tigurius because we're going to play control. So we're not too worried about if he wants to try and beat us down, then we'll get even more energy to work with. He does indeed tempo out. I've got the point blank shot, so we can just attack. Oh, we decide not to. We decide to actually go for the cheaper vehicles. So if you want to attack, we'll take an extra 5 damage. Obviously, we could have gone with a point blank shot there. He decides to not attack. And that enables us now to sort of seize initiative on the board. So he actually uses Death from Above there to clear. Sorry, I'm just speeding on a little bit. And this is a good example of using the Tactical Insight for tempo and playing around the odds and even number problem that you sometimes have, because we had a 3-drop down to 1 energy, so we can tempo out and play the 3-drop, and that obviously means we get another intercessor as well. So he uses his second Death from Above, so that's 2 Death from Aboves now that he's used. That's both of our rhinos taken out, and we're more than happy to see them used. We're down to 22 health, but that's like his 8 burn from spells now gone. So we can now start to drop our mid-game units with our Blade Guard, shoring up the board.
fight.
Is he lucky? Yes, he is. Triggers the 3 damage. 33% chance. But he got it. So now we can just go with it basically with a Storm Raven and draw a card. Or we can use point blank. Argument to say we don't attack there because of Thunderstorm, but I think at this point we're just so far ahead that we're really not worried. Oh yeah, that's why we wouldn't point blank, because Storm Raven was going to kill that, wasn't it? So far so good. And he just basically kills himself knowing that he's lost. Drops Tigurius for the win. Okay, so next up we're playing against Long Tim, and Long Tim is bringing a control Ghallaron deck. So this guy's pretty good against like potential camouflage units, but I think we maybe just kept it for tempo in this match. Just gonna draw. Ghallaron. Nothing on the first turn. That tells us that it's a control build and not an aggro Ghallaron. So, because it's control, we're happy playing the armoured support. We can take it slower, put the armour on everything, which is kind of like a fairly nice counter to Ghallaron's litany of despair ability. So he goes ahead and just heals up. Nice. So now we can start to put a bit of tempo down. We're not going to use our tactical insight there and go too wide. He's going to use his Litany of Despair to really try and melt this unit down. So nice combo there with the Possessed Marine. And he's able to take it out. But we've still got the initiative quite strongly here. Kronos is very timely.
It's time to scour this battlefield.
Just going to go ahead and draw. Now we possibly could have just thrown out one of the Primaris Reavers rather than drawing there, if we were hoping to get Kronos's ability. That's going to be too full, I think. Kind of happy to see the spawn so early there. Playing the spawn to deal with Kronos, we're kind of happy with that. And even though we don't get the benefit of the damage there, because there was nothing for the Storm's Codex on, it is a good tempo player, coming down with armor, and also being a flying unit. Something that Chaos struggle with a little bit, because their flankers are mainly melee damage. And actually now we can just drop one of our 2-drop flankers. We don't even have to trade the Storm Talon. Don't even have to trade the flanker. And now hit face Storm Talon. So even though he's playing a control deck, he's in a world of pain right here. Now this is a pretty good turn for him. He plays the Spreading Corruption, so this makes this 4 vulnerable. He has the second Spawned. So when he kills this, 4 is going to jump. 4 vulnerable is going to jump onto something else. To the Reaver, so he can kill that, and now it's going to jump onto this guy. So really nice way of popping up the board there. We're able to put a lot of pressure. Notice we chose not to attack there. I think maybe we should have done, and obviously we get punished. The Helldrake. comes our big dog. And he does have the Black Crusade on E10. Not enough. Too little, too late. GG. Okay, so next up we got Abaddon. Just going to keep the Primaris Reaver. So he heals and attacks. Just going to draw a card. Draws House of Chaos, and we saw we've got 3 cards, so we know we got 1 troop there. So playing for tempo. I think getting the Primaris Reaver out last turn might have been a misplay, but sometimes this can be quite challenging because your hand can get pretty full when you still got the High Factory in hand. So we're going to lower the cost of our vehicles. We're actually just going to go all in on taking out Orkz. Leave the Chosen alive. Could have actually gone with the Humanity Shield there instead of the card draw. Saved us quite a bit of damage, both that turn and in his turn now. Forcing him to kind of make the trade, really, because he wouldn't be able to hurt Marnius. To be honest, that might have been a pretty good Humanity Shield turn. Decides to trade anyway. Turned out to not matter too much. Now we go with the Humanity Shield. Got a little bit unlucky there. Thought we might have finished him off, but not quite. I think he should have put... I needed it to kill that, didn't he? So he couldn't put the camouflage on here. And of course we would have just hit him with the hard removal. Okay, so next up we got Uriel. Double Land Raider in our opening hand. So we know we're against aggro, so we'll always take Thunderstorm in this matchup and play as the control. If he wants to beat us down, that gives us more resources to respond with. It's a really nice counter to Uriel when you're playing control. Never any doubt. See a 2-drop. Doesn't usually play it, so we know it's aggro. So we are able to respond and clear. Just going to drop our invader. Say we've got a bigger body than you. What have you got? Just a draw already. Can clear. Okay, that's That's kind of bizarre. Could have just traded with that. He didn't need to do that, I don't think. A bit confused about the attacking with. So we're just going to drop the also for wide. So you see all these kind of like smaller, kind of aggro go wide minions. Just sort of can't really stand up to the bigger mid-range units that we play in this deck. It's very similar to my big guard deck. If you've not seen that video, go and check that one out. I released very recently, but similar thing. This is just quite similar to that deck, but this is just obviously a little bit more themed around vehicles. So now Kronos survives, so we get to play his Spear of Macragge. There's a nice Storm Talon, who now comes out with 2 armor. It's the armored support card that we'd invested in earlier. We don't even attack, so that with the 2 heal, this is what I love about this card. It forces him to spend the 2 energy. So like, if he was going to play Librarian, for example, on 7, he can't now do it.
Must be safeguarded.
Slight misplay there. We probably should have attacked first with this. Yeah, we should have attacked first with that because he could have healed. So we've just lost two heal off of the Apothecary, which means he can now be taken out and he wouldn't have been able to. So bit of a misplay. You've got to think about your order of attack when you're playing with Polaris. I have made similar mistakes to that quite a few times, to be honest. Nice. So he's used a ton of resources there, but he has managed to clear. And of course he's got the Avenging Zeal on Uriel now. This is more about just putting pressure on. Our big Repulsor Executioner to take that out. And let's see what Uriel's got left. I'm going to go into some live games after this one, guys. So if you're enjoying it, don't forget to hit that like button and please consider subscribing to the channel. We're trying to hit that big 1K so we can have our 12-hour streamathon on the 8th of June. Insta-kill Sicarius, and that's GG. So there we go, guys. Quite a lot of different examples there, games, just sort of showing how this deck works. I think this is a very powerful deck right now. I'm going to just jump into some more live games now for you to watch, just to get a little bit more gameplay and more examples. Okay, let's test some vehicles. Always take the fleet, I think.
Warriors of Ultramar, courage and honor.
Oh no. Going for the blasts, are we?
Your pitiful mortality will be your ruin.
Seems like we've got the Necron end turn button. I'm wondering whether that changes by faction or if it's just the same no matter what. We're gonna get hit by another bombardment. No. Not this time.
Brothers, battle calls for us.
It's not great. Because obviously you can just remove this with this, but I think the blowout of that coming... the blowout of that coming back might have been just a little bit too much early game.
Enemy lines.
Okay, now he's played that, we've kind of got to go. Units costing 2 less each turn.
I am death.
Brothers, battle calls for us. Target location. Flying into position.
That +1 range really coming into effect there. Of course, without the bombardment, you can actually clear this now as well, with the armor. I'm actually going to go face here, right? Because that should hit that. Is that right? Not get to find out. Okay, so Calgar vehicles. We've got Anvir. Don't want humanity shield. Keep inspired retribution. Probably not. Go in seconds, we get the high
You
effect.
lost your taste for battle.
The hour of blood and clashing blades has come.
Yeah, tanks. It's very interesting. Boss, we can see a lot more of this guy now.
The hour of bloodshed.
Could have used the high factory tempo out the Vader, but kind of want to save that really.
Statements of fate tell of nothing but death.
Now I'm regretting using point blank shot.
Enemy line.
The bloodied blade of Kings. There's no hiding from Ultramar's wrath.
Spending them stones. You're gonna use the high factory here. Pull this out. It's a little dangerous because he could have hit the stone, so maybe we should have used point blank. I forgot about that, so got a little bit lucky. So now we need a blocker, don't we? Or we don't, and we just heal. Yes, yeah, that could work. Do that.
The Emperor's work must be safeguarded.
Yeah, that works. See, I think we could have Storm Raven there. We cleared that, right? Didn't have a way of triggering Codex, though. dreadnoughts down there. See, he's got Whaling. Just 10.
Swift demise.
Okay. Heal up.
Emperor's work must be safeguarded. Push back aside.
Got no attack because we don't want to give him the Wailing Doom.
Heed my words. Rise.
Shadows are always vigilant.
Obviously, this is the game where the veteran could have been effective. There's actually some stealth units to get rid of, but just needed to trigger Codex, so it works with being an odd number. GG. Okay, so this time we got Ghaelyn.
Warriors of Ultramar, courage and honor!
Cleanse this place. We must protect the craft world.
Because we're a troop heavy deck, kind of like the idea that we get the discount on every single troop. Good.
Shadows are always vigilant.
Actually thinking about it, I'm not sure why I did that. We're playing against Ghaelyn tempo with a control player here. Shouldn't have attacked, that was a misplay. Yeah, hoping that the -1 cost troops is going to benefit us in the long run. Now, troop heavy we are. Kind of interesting actually, because if we get the stratagem off that makes vehicles cheaper, fine with blackout, that's -2 to vehicles. Costs pretty insane.
Dead before they see me coming. Strike is all I need.
Keeping up with the Joneses. Technically, he could drop his 6-drop legendary here. Play him a lot for starters. He gets to drop Storm Talon here, which kills this easily, so we're going to do it. Obviously, we do open ourselves up to his flyer that does 6 damage to flyers. Bit of an issue. Doesn't actually kill it off though. Storm Raven's such a good card now. Oh, then with an Eldritch Storm. Okay, we'll take that. Very much take that.
Strangle them like the serpent.
Make the engines roar. It's time to scour this battlefield.
Darius next turn. Oh, he's got the Dance of Death on. So I'll miss that.
Demise.
Such a shame we can't play the Red Knot here. It's going to be Hemlock. Doesn't have the stones for that.
My life has been spent preparing for this.
let's see, we play this. The next one's going to be.
The skins of fate are treacherous this day.
Got him.